Hello, this is Fact Drops, your go-to channel for breaking down trending news. Today's trending news is about the 3 executive orders signed by President Trump. These orders focus on 3 key areas. First, reducing the cost of in vitro fertilization, or IVF. Second, increasing government transparency by eliminating wasteful spending and fraud. And third, restricting legal interpretation authority to the President and the Attorney General. These executive orders could have a direct impact on many people's lives. The IVF policy, in particular, could significantly reduce financial burdens for couples seeking fertility treatments. However, the decision to centralize legal interpretation raises concerns about the balance of power in government. In this video, we'll break down each of these executive orders, explain the background behind them, and discuss their potential impact. Stay tuned until the end to get the full picture. Stay ahead of the latest trends and breaking news with Fact Drops. We bring you in-depth analysis of the most important stories shaping the world today. Don't miss out, subscribe now and turn on notifications to stay updated. Now, let's break down the key points. President Trump has signed 3 executive orders. First, reducing the cost of IVF. A policy aimed at making fertility treatments more affordable for couples struggling with infertility. Second, enhancing government transparency, introducing measures to reduce wasteful spending and prevent fraud in government agencies. And third, centralizing legal interpretation, restricting the authority to interpret laws to only the President and the Attorney General, eliminating separate interpretations by different government agencies. These executive orders have been widely reported by multiple media outlets, and each one could have a significant impact on American citizens and government operations. So, why were these policies introduced? Let's go through the background of each executive order. In recent years, there has been a growing demand for fertility treatments in the U.S. However, the cost of IVF remains extremely high. On average, a single IVF treatment cycle costs between $10,000 and $15,000. And most insurance plans do not cover it. As a result, many couples have been forced to give up on their dream of having children due to financial constraints. Recognizing this issue, President Trump introduced this policy to reduce IVF costs, aiming to make fertility treatments more accessible to more people. Now, let's talk about government transparency. Over the past few years, the U.S. government has faced increasing criticism over wasteful spending and corruption, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic, when large amounts of public funds were allocated to relief efforts. Concerns over financial mismanagement grew. This executive order is designed to impose stricter oversight on government spending, ensuring that taxpayer money is used efficiently and transparently. The administration aims to restore public trust by making government operations more accountable. Finally, the legal interpretation order. Right now, different government agencies interpret laws in their own way, which has led to inconsistencies in policy implementation. This is especially true for areas like environmental regulations and immigration policies, where conflicting legal interpretations have created confusion. To address this, President Trump is centralizing the authority to interpret laws, giving the final say to the President and the Attorney General. The goal is to unify government policies and ensure consistent decision-making across all federal agencies. So, how will these policies affect people's lives? First, IVF cost reduction. In the short term, this could ease the financial burden on couples seeking fertility treatments, making IVF more accessible. But the long-term impact depends on how the policy is implemented. Will the government provide subsidies? Will insurance companies be required to cover IVF? Or will pharmaceutical companies be pressured to lower prices? The effectiveness of this policy will depend on these details. Next, government transparency. In the short term, stricter financial oversight could help reduce fraud and waste in government spending. But in the long run, excessive regulations might slow down government operations, potentially affecting essential services. And finally, centralized legal interpretation. In the short term, this policy may bring more consistency to government decision-making, reducing confusion caused by conflicting interpretations. But in the long term, concentrating legal interpretation power in the hands of the President and the Attorney General raises concerns about the separation of powers. If legal interpretation is controlled solely by the executive branch, it could weaken the judiciary's role and disrupt the balance of power. This could lead to legal battles and heightened political tensions. Next, let's take a look at what people are saying online. So our tax dollars go towards IVF, but not healthcare/homeless/school lunches? More horseshit from the right. He signed the order because someone influential and rich wanted him to, not because of any philosophy. Elon wants to average at least 12 kids a year, so he has to think of ways to make sure it's more likely to occur rather than leave it to chance. No, it only commissions a report with policy options, none of which would require tax dollars to be sure. The promise was, we are going to be, under the Trump administration, we are going to be paying for that treatment. Trump said in an August interview with NBC, we're going to be mandating that the insurance company pay. So, no, not in any way a promise kept. More like, promise vaguely remembered and nodded towards unconvincingly. How does an EO make IVF more affordable? Is this the same as his EO he signed to make inflation go down and eggs cheaper? What's next? Is he gonna declare war on the ocean tide? Yes. And Trump going to return with Teslas full of seashells, bounteous booty stolen from the beaches of God Neptune himself, thus ensuring Lord Supreme Commander Trump is equal, nay, greater than all the gods on land or sea. Another lie. When are his voters going to realize what they have done? Wouldn't count on it. Am I wrong to think here that even if he signed an executive order to make Coca-Cola cans 5 cents each that it wouldn't work? I feel these signings are like plaques he can place on a wall. New executive order. I Trump am the fairest in the land and I get a million wishes. The president can't executive order spending. This is all for show. Look at me, I can sign my name. I'm a big boy, mommy. Just like the rest of his presidency. Don't the evangelicals and the hardcore anti-abortionists oppose IVF in its entirety too? He's hitting everything else. This is a distraction. Currently, the executive order is for his staff to come up with policy to make it more accessible and affordable. In this moment, it's a gesture. Just wait, there will be a clause that says it's for heterosexual families only, sigh. I think the executive order would likely only affect services under CMS and possibly TRICARE, military health insurance. Medicare and TRICARE don't cover IVF at this time. So, what does this all mean? President Trump has signed 3 executive orders. 1 to reduce IVF costs, 1 to enhance government transparency, and 1 to centralize legal interpretation. These policies could have a major impact not only within the US but also globally. The change in legal interpretation, in particular, could reshape how government agencies operate and how future administrations handle policymaking. Do you think these executive orders will bring real change? Or are they just another political move? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. That's it for today's update. Thanks for watching. We'll continue to bring you the latest news and in-depth analysis on the biggest trends shaping the world today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed. Also, let us know your thoughts in the comments. How do you think this news will impact you? Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.